Hello, I'm Professor Toybox, and accompanying me today is Captain Barbosa. We're back in my Land of the Dead toy box, and our goal today is to hook up the Creativitoys that are needed to tell the main story. As you may recall from the first video, the main story is divided into 3 stages. First, find your ancestor, and they serve as kind of a mission giver. Second, when we find them, they'll send us on a quest to locate 10 envelopes that are hidden throughout the toy box. And third, once we find those envelopes, we return to our ancestor and obtain their blessing, and then we can return to the land of the living. So the first stage is to find our ancestor, and for that we're going to need to add an ancestor. And I'm going to set him up as a mission giver a little bit differently than I've done for other videos, because I want his location to be different every time we play this. And so we're going to set him up using a friendly wave generator. And we'll go ahead and put these over here. So we'll need the friendly wave generator. We're also going to need a radar marker and the text displayer and the dynamic trigger. So first we'll set up our friendly wave generator. So under here we'll come down to configure the wave. And I'm looking for somebody who looks kind of skeletal, who looks a little bit different than perhaps the generic skeleton that's down at the bottom of the list. And the one that I chose to use, you can use Jack Skellington, though he kind of looks a little bit similar, black and white like the others. There's the ghosts there from the Haunted Mansion. And I'm actually going to use Ghost Rider. So the orange hair will kind of help make him a little bit easier to spot and stand out from the rest of the dead people in this land. So we'll choose him, and we only need one of him. And then we'll set up the properties. And for the properties, we're going to put him in a random locator, and I'm going to connect up a bunch of locators here in a minute. No generation delay. We don't need generation effects. And under the generated friend options, I'm going to set the behavior up. So we'll come down here and looking for wander. So we'll put him in one of 10 different locations, but he's not going to stay there. He'll wander around, and that way he's going to be in a different spot every time we play this, which would be a very good thing. Okay, so now we're going to need some locators. And I'll scroll over here and find those. And let's go put some locators out and about. And I want to put them in a wide variety of locations. So there's no stairs leading up to this little area up here. So this is kind of a good place to maybe put him, where the player would have to figure out how to get up there. Over here on the tower, I don't really want to put him on the main floor anywhere if I can help it. So we'll stick one up here. And he can wander around up there. We can put him another one down over here. That might be a nice place to go. And then we'll come up. I'm going to skip that level. And we'll put one up here on the top level. So there's several of them now on the central tower. And over here on tower number 2, we'll put one out on the main floor up here, 3rd floor. So we'll put one here. We'll put one down here. And we'll stick a few over on this side. This might be a fun little place for him. Put him up there. Can have him wander around up here. Just anywhere you can think of. And we could probably even add a couple of more if we wanted, but I think that covers most of the areas. And then we just need to hook them up. So on our friendly wave generator, you'll do a new locator connection. And then we'll travel over to each of these locators. So here's the first one. And then we'll go and repeat this for each of the locators that I just dropped. And I'll go ahead and do that offline, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, I'm back, and I've got all of the locators hooked up. I also dropped one more up here on this little balcony area, and I hooked that up as well. So that gives me a total of 9 right now. And again, you can put those anywhere you want. Just wanted to put those in as many locations as I could, on as many different levels, and because the wander behavior is turned on, they'll not stay there, so I don't have to put too many locators down. So now we have our mission giver, and he's showing up in different places each time we play, which is a good thing. We'll go ahead and kick it off with the level starter. So we'll do a new logic connection, catalyze when we enter the level. This will cause the wave to be generated, and it'll put him out in a random location somewhere in the toy box. Now, it's a big toy box, so we need help finding him. So for that, we'll need a radar marker. So we'll come into our radar marker, and we're going to do a new actor connection. And I'm going to hook this up to the friendly wave generator, so that whatever that generates will be our actor. And then we'll come into the radar marker properties. I'm going to set the beacon type to be a yellow arrow. And the beacon location is not this creativitoy, but the connected actor. And we're going to make it active by default. And we're probably going to test this a number of times. And I've got this button hooked up to connect to the level starter, which will essentially restart. So even though we technically don't need this, I'm going to go ahead and hook this up with the level starter so that we'll go ahead and turn that radar marker back on when we come into the level. And if we use the reset button during our testing, that will make sure that's on. And then we'll also do the same thing with the dynamic trigger. So new logic connection on catalyze, come over to our dynamic trigger and turn that on as well. And for the dynamic trigger, we're going to connect that to our friendly wave generator as our actor as well. And for the properties, the target, again, is not this creativitoy, but the connected actor. And the trigger distance, I'm going to set this to be 4. So you have to be fairly close to him in order to trigger this. So again, this toy sets up a radius around our actor of 4 units, which is just a little bit over, well, actually that is 1 block radius around the character. And then we'll go ahead and set up our text displayer. So the text duration will be 4. Text style will be banner, which will make it real easy to see. And on the text displayer, when you finally find our mission giver and you approach him, we'll do a new logic connection so that when entered by player any, this will come over to our text displayer. And for this, we're going to come to the defense category. And he's going to tell us to collect the coins. They're not coins, they're envelopes, but that's the closest thing I've got that tells the player they need to collect something. And once we've done that, we don't need the radar marker. So we'll go when entered by player any. In addition to displaying the text, we'll deactivate the radar marker. And so that's it for phase 1. So as a review, when we enter the level starter will generate our mission giver somewhere in the toy box and turn on the radar marker and the dynamic trigger around him, we can use the radar screen to find him. And once we do and we approach him, that will tell us to go to the next stage and collect the coins and turn off the radar marker for our actor, because we're going to be using the radar marker for something else. So that's it for stage 1. Now we can go ahead and test this out, and I think we're going to need a second button here to do that, because once we generate that actor, we need a way to take him back out. And I could use we'll use a second button for this. So new logic connection when pressed. I could use the other button to do this too, but go ahead and defeat the wave. And this will hit the main reset, but this will take out the wave generator. And I'm doing that separately because I plan to add a few more friendly and enemy wave generators in the toy box, and I might need a way to clear those. So yeah, we'll do that. And you could hook it up again to this button, but I'm going to use a separate one. One other thing I just thought of, though, and that is that once we display that text, we should turn off this dynamic trigger. So on our text displayer, we'll do a new logic connection when any text is displayed. We'll go ahead and turn this off, and that way it won't continue to display the collect the coins text whenever we happen to walk up to him. And another good idea to do would be on a new logic connection when entered by player any. When we approach the mission giver, we should probably have him stand still. So we're going to change his behavior so he's no longer wandering. And we'll need to do this in a looped fashion so that he continues to stand still. So once we find him, he'll wait wherever it was that we found him. And that'll make him easier to find when we finish with the collection quest in stage 2. So now we have this all done. And I'm going to come out here and we can go ahead and test this out. So we'll hit the reset button. And the friendly wave generator should put him out there, and it did. There's now a yellow dot out on the radar in the lower left corner, which means our actor is out there and the radar marker is on him. And let's just go see where it put him this time. Yeah, interesting. Not seeing him. Is he up here? He's out here somewhere. Well, let's do this. Okay, he's over there at the other tower. There he is. I see him wandering around over there. Cool. Yeah, he's right over here. So that's good. And if we were to come back and do this again, he'd be in a different spot because he's being put at a random locator. And as you saw, he's wandering around, which is great because that means he'll be a little different place each time we play and a little trickier to find. So now I'll push that button to take him out, and you can see the radar is clear in the lower left corner. So there we are. Stage 1's done. Now for stage 2. We're going to need a few more creativitoys for this stage. So we're going to come over here, and I'm going to need... It might have been faster to go the other way. I'm going to go ahead and put down one replayer for right now. And I'll explain that in a moment. And I'm also going to use the collectible tracker. So this will keep track of the collectibles that we want to go find. And to add the collectibles, I'd like those to be in a different location every time as well, so that they're not predictable. And the first thing I thought of trying to use would be, let's see, where did that end up? Now I'm not going to find it. The random object spawner. This is what I would like to use. And this toy box, this works really well because, again, there's so many different levels and things. And I'm going to put the crow pack in here because that will make it so that you can put the collectibles anywhere, which means this would be perfect because this toy, you can use this to generate collectibles in different places, and it puts them in random spots, which are really weird places. The problem, though, with this is when you put them down, for some reason, the game doesn't think they're actually collectibles, and so the collectible tracker won't register them when you pick them up. They won't show up on the radar, so I can't really do anything with this toy. This would be perfect, but unfortunately I can't do that. So instead of that, we're going to use a replayer, and I'm going to put down 10 of these. So I'm going to pick this up and put it back down again, which gets me to that location in the drawer. And we're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And so we're going to select one of these randomly. So we'll need a randomizer to do that. Okay, so for the second stage, this collectible tracker is going to keep track of the collectibles. So we'll come under Properties, and the collectible type is going to be the envelope. And so we need to scroll down and find the envelope collectible. There it is. And I want them to show up on the radar because that will make them easier to find. And we're going to use the replayers to put down the collectibles, and we're going to use the randomizer to pick which replayer to use. Since we're going to put those down in some weird places, we're also going to need the object generator with the crow pack. And in my toy box, I stuck that up here in the top floor of the middle tower. So right up here. So we'll come over to the object generator. And we'll put this down. And the default properties on this, I believe, are fine. But let's go ahead and just double check. So auto spawn pickups is off because that'll just do a random thing and the auto spawn frequency doesn't matter. So we'll put the crow pack up there, and as the player goes around and explores, they'll find it, and then they'll be able to get to all of the collectibles that we're going to put down. And I'm going to hook up the level starter to that. So new logic connection on catalyze. We'll come up here to the object generator. And under the packs, we want to use the crow wing pack. And that gives the player the pack that turns them into a crow, which allows them to fly up or down anywhere in the toy box. And with that toy available, we can put those collectibles anywhere in the toy box. We can really hide them good. The radar will help them to find them, but they're going to have to fly around and really look for them still to see them. So for the collectibles, we'll use the replayers to put them down, and on each of the replayers, I kind of like to set this playback interval to 0. And I'll do that offline for each of these. And to use the replayer, again, I did a whole series on the replayer, different ways to use that in conjunction with the randomizer in my Random Dungeon series, but we come over here and step onto it, and that puts a little menu in the lower right corner, and I'm going to press B on my Wii U to record, and then I step off so that I can get back into the toy box drawers. And under the gameplay toys, if I scroll left, I find the collectibles, and I'm looking for the envelope, which is right there. And now the replayer is recording, so it's going to record all of the objects I'm going to place from this point forward. And so now I'm going to drop 10 of these, and you can put them anywhere you want in the level, but really hide them good. So I'm going to put one like over here where it's kind of hidden by those black meshes. So there's one. And we can stick one up here maybe, where you'll have to have the crow pack to get to it up here. There's two. We can put one over here, maybe tuck it back there where it's a little out of sight. There's three. And we'll put one up here. There's four. We can stick one up on top of this if we want. That's five. And put these just about anywhere you can think of. Tuck them away in corners like this. That's six. And we'll put one up here. Seven. And try to spread them around the toy box so that they're not all bunched up in one place. And again, you want to hide them good. You stick one back here, there's 8. Nine. One more. All kinds of places we could put it. Ten. And now when we hit exit, it puts us back over here. So we can come back and step on the replayer and hit B again to stop recording. And A will clear it. And you can put these collectibles down. I've got 9 more of these to do, and I'll do those offline in a moment here. But yeah, just be creative where you put them. You can hide some back out this way, so they have to come back out in this direction. And as I had said in an earlier video, another great place to hide it would be like on the opposite side of this railing here, where they come running down here. They don't necessarily see it. Put one up there on the bridge, and so when they're riding the train, they have to ride the train maybe to be able to get it. If you put it up high enough off the track there, they'll have to ride the train to pick it up. So be creative and just put them anywhere you want. Put them all in different locations though, so you don't want to use the same location more than once. That makes it even more unpredictable. And so I'm going to go ahead and for each of these, I'm going to put down 10 collectibles, and I'll be back here in just a moment. Okay, I've got all of the replayers hooked up, and each replayer is dropping 10 envelopes in different locations around the toy box. And I think they're pretty well hidden. I chose some creative locations. Of course, the locations don't really matter. You can pick whatever you want, so you don't have to copy exactly what I did. But now we're ready to hook up the rest of this second stage for the main quest. And so we're going to come over to our dynamic trigger for the mission giver. So from stage 1, as soon as we find him, not only is he going to display the text that says collect the coins and turn off the radar marker, but we'll set up a new logic connection. So when entered by player, any, we'll come over and reset the collectible tracker. and that will initialize that. And then when entered by player any, when we find our mission giver, we're going to come over to our randomizer and say action. And this will cause the randomizer to broadcast one of 10 possible trigger signals. And we're going to hook each of these up to a different replayer. So random trigger 1 will connect to this replayer and do a playback. And new logic connection random trigger 2 will go to this one, playback. And this way, each random trigger signal will invoke a different replayer, which will put down the 10 envelopes in a different location. So every time you play this, it'll be randomly selected, which is a good thing. I could just hook up all these replayers offline, but since I'm right here, it doesn't take very long. And since I want to test this when we're all done, I want to make sure these are all hooked up. And one more. There we go. So that will display 10 envelopes somewhere, depending on which replayer is invoked. And then the collectible tracker will keep track of those as you pick them up. So that's it for stage 2. And there's really not much to hooking that one up. Most of the time is just spent picking where you want to hide the envelopes as you set up each of the replayers. So then the next stage, once you've collected all the envelopes, is to return to your ancestor and obtain your blessing. And so I think we can reuse the radar marker for that, but we should probably use a brand new dynamic trigger and text displayer, just because we have trigger signals hooked up on the other two. So for the second, or the third stage, the last stage, we'll put those down there. And again, just like the other one, we're going to hook this dynamic trigger up to our friendly wave generator. And we'll use the character that generates as our actor. And we'll set the properties to be the connected actor. And the trigger distance, once again, will be 4. So on the collectible tracker, we'll set up a new logic connection. So when the final collectible is collected, we're going to come over and turn on that dynamic trigger. And that should be off by default when we start the level. So on the level starter, we'll do new logic connection on catalyze and turn off that dynamic trigger. And also, when the final collectible is collected, not only turn on that dynamic trigger, but we should turn the radar marker back on so we can find our relative. So that will turn that on. And that should be everything we need there. Yep. Okay, let's set the properties for this text displayer. Once again, duration to be 4, text style to be banner. And now when we come back to our ancestor, our actor, on the dynamic trigger, we'll do a new logic connection when entered by player any. We'll come over to our text displayer, and for this one we're going to come under victory and say congratulations. And that lets the player know the mission is done. And we should also turn off that radar marker. Like that. And I think that should be everything. Let me just review my notes here real quick. So this is invoking the object generator up there. It's turning off that dynamic trigger. Make sure that one's turned on. And the radar marker is on at the start. And it's turning on all those braziers. That's where that's pointing. And it wouldn't hurt to have this level starter. Go ahead and make sure this is reset as well. Probably don't need that, but it doesn't hurt anything. One thing I do not want to do is have this level starter or either of those buttons clear any of these replayers. In order to completely reset this for another run, wouldn't know necessarily which of these was selected. I would have to just blanketly clear all of them. And unfortunately, I think it gets kind of buggy sometimes if you clear a replayer that hasn't been played. It can corrupt the replayer, so I definitely do not want to do that. But yeah, I think that's everything we need. So I'm going to save my game, and I'll be right back in just a moment, and we'll go ahead and try it out and see how it goes. Okay, game is saved, and we're ready to go ahead and try this out. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the reset button here, which will kick off the level starter as if we just entered this level. And you can see the train running up there in the distance. As soon as I push this, that should reset as well. Maybe it didn't. Okay, so now we have our townsperson over there on the radar marker in the lower left corner. So we'll come on out here and see if we can find him. Looks like he's going to be on the left side of the central plaza here, or in that left tower. Looks like it's going to be over here in Tower 3. Oh, nope, he's right nearby. Probably up above us. Just to save a little bit of time, let's go find him. There he is. So we come up to him, and he says, collect the coins. And now you can see on the radar markers in the lower left corner, we've got our collectibles out here. So now we got to go find these things. Crow Pack would really help us out here. So I think that should be our first stop. And it might be quicker just to zip up there and grab it. All right, now we can go ahead and find this thing. Alright, it's not up there. It's real close. There it is. And again, this is part of what makes this collectible quest fun, is because it is so easy to hide these things and make it difficult to find when you've got a vertically oriented level like this. Here's one. All right. Oh, I see one over there. Okay. Should be another one around here somewhere. There it is. Ah! Oh my goodness. I made that one a hard one to get. There we go. That's crazy. Alright, there should be one right around. I should be right on top of it. There it is. Nice. And looks like there's one hidden out here. Oh, I see it already. If you approach by way of the bridge, that one can be kind of hard to see. But from the air, you can spot it. But yeah, if you're running through here like this, it's not necessarily obvious that that's where it is. Hey, there it is. That'd be super close. All right. Looks like maybe 3 to go. There's one real close by here. There it is. Two, maybe 3 left. Both of them off to the... Oh, wait, there's one over here. My goodness, I'm right on top of it. Oh, I wonder if that's the one I stuck up on the bridge. Where you have to ride the train to get to it, or use the crow pack. Yeah, there it is. Ah, I went right over top of it. Yikes. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's do it this way. There we go. My goodness, that was a chore. All right, let's see if we can find... Oh, I think I just spotted one. There it is. One left. Wow, where is that thing? I hit it pretty good, I guess. There it is. Wow. Okay. Now the radar marker is back on our townsperson. So we approach him, and he says, "Congratulations." And that's it for the main quest. So now we have the main story, and I like that it's unpredictable. You never know where you're going to find your ancestor or where the envelopes will be. That makes the replay value on this toy box very high because it's different every time you play it. Next time I'll show you how to make the little side quest involving the townsperson who's fading away. That's very reminiscent of the Coco movie, and I know some of you are eager to find out how I built that. In the meantime, don't forget to sign up on my blog or subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done that, so you won't miss the next episode in this series. If you want to build this toy box on your own console or PC, you can find the floor plans and logic diagrams on my blog that will help you. Thank you for watching my video today, and I'll see you next time.